Good morning, my name is Sabrina Stocker.
And my name is James Tzanoudakis.
And welcome back to 15 Love.
So today's video is a little bit different to our previous episodes. We're not actually going to be doing a challenge, are we?
Well, for me it's going to be quite challenging because we're going back to where it all began. We're going to the Shard, which, if you didn't know, was the actual place that I filmed my interview for the Apprentice process.
So since we've begun doing these videos, we've had quite a lot of questions from people on Instagram and indeed on YouTube as well, asking us a little bit more about ourselves, specifically with Sabrina, how she became a businesswoman, how she got into The Apprentice, and for myself, how I got into the media industry.
As you can tell, it's super early in the morning, but we have a train to catch ASAP, so we'll see you there.
See you at the Shard.
Welcome, we are at the Shangri-La Hotel at the Shard, London, and we're very excited today to be here.
Yeah, and we really couldn't have picked a better day. The weather across London is absolutely beautiful. We are here in the tallest building in the whole of Europe. I couldn't be more excited to be here.
Now, the more exciting part is getting to know James.
And for me, the exciting part is getting to know Sabrina. Obviously, we've done a few videos over the past couple of months, but today this is really an opportunity for you guys to get to know a little bit about me and a little bit about Sabrina and how we've got to this point in our careers.
Social media and TV really show a different side to us, and they show what the editors or what we want you to see. So today is to get to know the real us and to find out how we got to where we are.
I guess we're going to start with you, Sabrina, and what's always impressed me so much about Sabrina is how she started her career at such a young age. What I want to know is what the 14-year-old Sabrina was like. You know, what were you like as a person? Because you started your business at such a young age.
I was a very active 14-year-old. I was always doing something before and after school. I was a bit of a goody two-shoes at school. I'd always have my head in the books.
Did you have a business nous, a business sense about you at that young age?
The Apprentice, I have watched since the age of 9 years old, every single episode that has ever happened. And I think The Apprentice actually inspired me to start my own business. What were you like as a child growing up?
14-year-old James was very different to the 14-year-old Sabrina. I didn't like being told what to do. I wasn't great at school, didn't get good grades. So that's one thing I'd say is grades at school, they are not a given to making a success of your life. What I want to know is what drives you as a person? What is sort of the first thoughts on your mind when you wake up, the last thoughts when you go to bed, those thoughts you wake up with in the night, where your ideas come from? What drives you as a person?
I'd say my inner drive, one comes from the fear of being average. So I don't want to be like anybody else. I want to actually prove, and when I leave the world one day, I want to make sure that I've made a difference. And I guess the second part of it is the excitement of doing something different every day. You don't know if you're going to get hit by a bus at 12 p.m, which is quite a dark thought, but it's very true. I want to know that I've made the best out of every single day and I've had fun doing it, and I will never say yes to something that I don't want to do. So everything I'm doing, I really enjoy.
Sports were a sort of big influence for me, I guess, like yourself as well. You know, playing tennis, playing football.
Would you ever think that at 14 years old, just relaxing, playing football with your friends, you'd end up actually presenting football matches?
For me, if it wasn't going to be playing as a sport, as a professional, the next obvious thing for me would be presenting and reporting from football matches and from tennis matches and things like that. In terms of your business, it's a business you've developed since the age of 14. It was something that was recognised on BBC Apprentice. You were out of tens of thousands of candidates in the last 5 people. It's clearly a very, very good business. What's next?
Well, next I'm actually starting something called Active Dragons, which is super exciting. And you've got your typical summer camps where you either go multi-sport, so you've got challenges all day, or it's very specific. So ours in the morning, it's about multi-sports, all about teamwork, and in the afternoon about creative thinking. So really pushing your mind outside the box. That being from everything from public speaking to creating plays to be able to build rocket launches. Everything that actually really makes you excited as a child, and then growing on that real self-control and self-belief. Did you go to college, university? What did you do after?
So yeah, I went to my local university. This is kind of where I found really what the secret to success in the media industry is. And it's as simple as networking, talking to as many different people as you can, picking up the phone, hassling people. And I got in touch with my local radio station, BBC Radio Suffolk. Went in one day, got given a shift answering the phones. And you know what? Do everything you do as best as you can. That's my honest opinion. If someone says make a cup of tea for me, make them the best cup of tea you've ever made. I guess one of the things that a lot of people who follow you, you've got a very active following on Instagram, on social media in general. And I guess one of the things that people will be interested in is, and I know the answer to this because I know you now, but what are you like as a person sort of away from that? Because from my experience, what you see is what you get with Sabrina Stocker.
I think it's exactly how you've said it. Especially being in such a TV show, you can't be fake. There's obviously you can be edited, but they can't edit things that aren't there. So naturally, I'm very charismatic, I'm very bubbly. I'd say I'm a very positive person as well. But I think I'm fairly humble, and that kind of keeps me grounded. And I think it's so important that no matter how successful you are, that you can really show the real you rather than trying to create a fake persona, because there's only so much that can last for. How did you get in straight away? Did you have a lot of rejection? How did you actually get into the sports presenting specifically?
Well, you use that word rejection, which I think is a good word actually, because rejection is a big part, I think, of life in anything that you're doing. And actually, one of the skills in life is to not take rejection too seriously. And if you get rejected by something, just go again, just find the next opportunity. And in terms of how I got into sport, again, I started at my local radio station. BBC Local Radio is fantastic, a very good way of getting into the media industry. And yeah, I just started reporting on smaller matches, and then I got my first big opportunity, which was at the Premier League as a reporter.
You went to the Olympics as well?
I went to the Olympics and commentated on every tennis match in the Olympics and Paralympics on centre court, commentated Andy Murray's gold medal at the Rio Olympics.
And how competitive would you say the industry is? Because obviously you've done Sky, you've done multiple different TV shows.
It's incredibly competitive, and I think that's the biggest problem. And also one of the things is sometimes people look for a certain look, and that can be the most frustrating thing. You can think you're perfect for the job, but you just don't look how they want that particular person for that role to look like. And that's why you just have to keep applying for as many different things as possible, because eventually you will find a role that is suited to you. It might seem like it will never happen, but eventually it will. You can apply for 100 jobs, you can put yourself forward for 100 auditions. It's just one audition you need. You do also express an interest in television presenting as well. Obviously, we've been doing some presenting with this YouTube channel, and I think you've had a couple of meetings, haven't you, with the BBC about one day perhaps getting into some children's presenting.
I would love to be a children's presenter. I feel like that's my personality coming across in absolute tea. Anything, I watched Blue Peter when I was growing up, so anything as like to Blue Peter as possible would be absolutely phenomenal. But I think something that I can actually inspire children and have fun doing it would be the absolute dream. And how about travelling as well? You obviously travel a lot when you are presenting. Do you get time to visit the different countries, spend time in the different countries?
So tomorrow I'm flying to Cairo, and this is for UIPM Modern Pentathlon. Travelling is a big part of my job, something I love doing, and yeah, it's really fantastic.
So hopefully you've really enjoyed watching our one-to-one interviews with James and myself.
Yeah, it's been a little bit different this week, guys. We haven't been as manic as we usually are. I guess this shows a different side to us, doesn't it?
It shows that we can be silly and entertaining, but we do have a professional side sometimes when we're needed.
Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Please continue to like, subscribe, and watch all of our videos. And if you do have any other questions that you would like me and Sabrina to answer, then please leave some comments. We're thinking of doing a Q&A in a few weeks' time as well.
I think that will be a lot of fun.
And a big thank you to the Shangri-La Hotel at the Shard, London, for their fantastic hospitality. What an amazing view, Sabrina, we've had to do this video.
It's been absolutely incredible. The views up here are absolutely insane. The place is looking immaculate, and every single person I've gone through the building has smiled, which is so nice for London. So thank you so much.
We'll see you next time.